Who are Mckeague intelligence services and why do they play a crucial role in the investigation of Corrie Mckeague's disappearance? From the mission statement of MIS, they claim to specialise in disrupting problems old and new. What problems or obstacles stood in the way of the Mckeague investigation? The key obstacles from the perspective of those close to Corrie Mckeague was, in fact, the behaviour of Suffolk Police themselves and their failure to make progress in the investigation. Suffolk Police maintained they were searching for a missing person, and they did not prioritise the disappearance as a murder investigation. If there was foul play, this meant that those responsible would never be identified or brought to the courts. If Suffolk Police pursued this theory of misadventure due to what they claimed was Corrie Mckeague's propensity to sleep in rubbish bins, then there was no need to look into further suspects. Mckeague intelligence services therefore used disruption tactics to counteract the conventional narrative as it was presented by Suffolk Police. I suggest their expertise in collating and mining data and intelligence from social media put them in a very good position to undertake this disruption tactic. There seems to be a rather conflicting picture about Mckeague intelligence services. On one hand, the Daily Record claims that the organisation operates from one desk within a larger building, and they have one member of staff who is Forbes Mckeague. However, there are a number of other agencies and players involved with Mckeague intelligence services. From forces.net, there is this description of MIS, which states that MIS provides specialist intelligence services to government agencies and Fortune 500 clients globally. They also have experience in covert and overt operations throughout the world. A BBC News article, Mckeague's uncle, Tony Ringe, said Mckeague intelligence services had uncovered details which challenged, quote, previously held assumptions about his nephew's disappearance. Now, these previously held assumptions were held by whom exactly? I would suggest that these are the assumptions of the, if you like, the conventional narrative that was presented to the public by Suffolk Police. Mckeague intelligence services worked directly with Mckeague's family to present, if you like, a counter-narrative and to reveal information through a process of social media infiltration where details were leaked, which would then put pressure on Suffolk Constabulary to progress with other areas of the investigation. Taking their cues from an anonymous blog written on the Mckeague case, which I believe was written by a member of Mckeague's family very close to the Find Corrie Facebook group, Mckeague and associates joined social media discussion platforms such as Web Sleuths, Reddit, and McCann forums with the intention of strategically reinforcing a new narrative which challenged and disrupted these previously held assumptions, or the assumptions as they were presented by Suffolk Police. Using the Chasing Corrie Mckeague subreddit, these posters presented facts as speculation and wrote cryptic and coded posts engineered to release sensitive information relating to the investigation and details of persons of interest in that investigation. My question is, how far did information leaked in the Chasing Corrie Mckeague subreddit have an actual impact on the investigation by Suffolk Constabulary? Well, the Chasing Corrie Mckeague subreddit, which was started in January by myself and individuals who at the time I believed were simply members of the public, became a private subreddit, which meant that members of the public could not view any of the posts. It became a private subreddit at around about the same time that there was an arrest of a 28-year-old man called Hayden Stevens, who was thought to have falsified the weight of a bin lorry which may have held Corrie Mckeague's body. After being under investigation for several days, Mr. Stevens was released by the police. This discrepancy in the weight of the bin lorry subsequently led Suffolk Constabulary to reopen a search of the landfill site where they believed the lorry may have taken Mr. Mckeague's body. After Suffolk Police announced that they were going to reopen the landfill search, many of the posters from the Corrie Mckeague group and individuals who had joined at around the time the subreddit was started and who had been active in the subreddit simply deleted their profiles and removed their posts from that subreddit and from other areas of Reddit where the case was being discussed. Here is an example of a typical post and comment thread which refers to the Chasing Corrie Mckeague subreddit and a suspicion that members of Mckeague Intelligence Services were operating on that Reddit. This person goes on to say, hi everybody, I previously posted on the CC, which is Chasing Corrie subreddit, and I don't have any desire to join the newly established private thread as I wasn't keen on the constant bashing of Nicola and Uncle Tony. I'm happy it's gone private now, just saying. Has anybody ever considered that some of the Corrie threads might have been started by MIS? And the response to that is, I'm starting to believe this too. And if it's true, I don't blame them. The power of the internet is so good. I just hope that if it was them, they've got the info that was needed to give C's family and friends closure to the difficult time they're having. Of course, the irony in this is that the constant bashing of Nicola and Uncle Tony was actually undertaken by MIS themselves in an effort to perhaps drum up certain sections of the community in a fervour against those individuals. However, the reality is that those people being bashed were fully aware that this was happening, and a little embarrassment is nothing compared to the information that could be dropped along the way and the influence that information could exert on an ongoing investigation. After the arrest of Hayden Stevens, an update was posted on the Mckeague blog, written, I suspect, by a member of Corrie's extended family. It was written in late March after Stevens was released by police. Notice the amount of intelligence collected on Stevens, very possibly prior to his arrest, and the connection made between Stevens and Flex nightclub. The focus on Flex nightclub and the suggestion that staff and persons from that nightclub may have contributed to Corrie Mckeague's disappearance has been consistent throughout the threads posted on the Chasing Corrie Mckeague Reddit sub, where there was a concerted effort to name individuals from the nightclub and to discuss their movements on the night that Corrie Mckeague disappeared. Of course, all of those posts and all of those suggested implications were removed after Hayden Stevens was arrested. The blog post continues to say, if anybody thought that the arrest of Mr. Stevens on a charge of perverting the course of justice was the only one, I do not agree. I feel this will not be the last secret revealed in this case. I do believe the police should consider re-interviewing people from that night within that area. I have great trouble in believing that so many people were there that night and yet nobody knows anything. Too many people are saying a lot, none of it means a great deal. Mr. Stevens, who appears to drink and go for nights out in the area and in two places of interest in this case, is also the same person who works at the firm who collects waste from another area central to this case. Somebody knows the facts and the truth, and that somebody is within the investigative triangle and is saying nothing. Now, this post was written in March, and wind forward to October, and what do you know? After after a review of the investigation by another force, it was decided to once again release images of potential witnesses in the area and to re-interview some of those witnesses.